Nice.
All right, good evening, everybody. It is the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission for October 16th, 2024. And Lucas Thomas, Boucher, Jay Fain, Kato Mahoney, Peter Hood, and Diane Saunders are here, as well as staff, of course. I will appoint Diane as a full member for tonight in the event that we need to vote on anything. The Conservation Commission meeting of September 18th, 2024. Does anybody have any corrections or comments for those meeting minutes? Nope.
Nope.
All right, well, I'll just have them approved, so no vote, just make it easier that way. There's no reason to. New business, Roman numeral 4, scheduled planting in Ginger Woods, open space related to forestry test plots in collaboration with UConn undergraduate student Emily Barnhart. Tim?
So the department's working with Emily, who I think it says is an undergrad environmental science student at UConn. If everyone recalls the experimental plots in Binger Woods, there's 3 that are 75 by 75 feet. We missed the planting window for the fall for the nurseries to ship the seedlings, but we are on it this fall. Sorry, in the spring, we're on it for the fall. We're gonna get roughly 100 seedlings that are about a foot tall of various native species like red oak and tulip. And we're going to work with Emily, and she's gonna arouse some volunteers from UConn and get that planted as part of a project that she could collaborate with us on. So again, those plots, one is fenced in and untouched in its natural state. The other 2 are fully cleared. One will remain untouched, cleared, and the other one will be planted. So we'll see what happens. The project is to attempt to simulate what happens when all the beach is gone with BLD, and all plots were 100% beach enclosure. So that's all been removed. And we're looking at right now, Nicole's been working diligently to get information on shipping dates from various nurseries in the Northeast to get all the trees. So it should, we're looking at right now November 4th and November 8th to schedule with Emily and her group. So
That sounds great.
get them in the ground and see what happens.
I think the rest of the state of Connecticut will be very happy we're doing this.
Yeah, I think, it's definitely long term. I mean, this would be over a decade. hopefully.
Everyone's gonna have to do it. I mean, everybody's facing the same.
Yeah, where it goes, and there's some potential to work in with some other institutions in town to maybe do some more statistical analysis on mortality and growth rates and stuff like that. If there's a project out there, undergrad and grad student that wants to really get into the weeds. And I've had that discussion with Fairfield Prep and Fairfield U. So there's there may be some more to build on this, or even in UConn. It'd be great to keep it in UConn and go that route. So
That was my question. Is Emily doing this on her own, or is she getting some school?
yeah, it's part of the
support?
school project.
The school project,
Yeah, that they have to interact with like a municipality.
okay.
So that's why I think it would be great if having, my calls with her and professors and guidance team has been to, hey, can, beyond Emily, can the UConn carry the torch through a program or through a professor or something like that, instead of transferring data or whatever. So we'll see, but we're looking at, it'll happen in the next few weeks. So
All right,
we're excited.
excellent. Now, moving on to Roman numeral 5, old business, discussion on the Youth Conservation Award nominees by Commission Subcommittee. And I saw an email from Commissioner Hood, I think. Was that for this?
Yeah, that was our election. That was our election day reach out. We're kind of.
We have come up with two very qualified and very equal recipients. We haven't notified them yet, so we're not going to release their names this evening. But we're hoping to meet with First Selectman and Tim the week of Thanksgiving for an award and a completion of our very first Youth Conservation Award.
That's
We'll
great.
come back to this group after that and talk about restructuring an award. There's some conversation that the three of us have had, Commissioner Hood, Commissioner O'Mahony, about different levels of participation, youth, somebody in the middle and somebody close to that. But we hope to make a big splash. And the future would probably present it again. I think we all agreed probably around Earth Day.
Yeah,
So-
that's the target. That's what
Yeah,
we're looking to tie it to.
that's great.
Makes sense.
And then maybe present it, like if we do the Earth Day thing over at the Y,
Yeah.
something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Fun anyway.
Yeah. All right, cool. Cool. All right. And commissioners, anything further? Any questions to the subcommittee?
I do.
Yeah.
I have, I wanted the commissioners to know that both Commissioner O'Mahony and Commissioner Hood did a lot of work, both behind the scenes and out talking to people, trying to drum up interest in this. And lots of credit should go to
Well,
those two.
I think credit should go to all three. of
All
you.
three.
Thank
I was
you
gonna
for
say,
you For doing all
Well,
that you did, and
It's
very
Rick's,
nice.
it's Rick's idea.
No,
He's the one that brought it.
You all stepped up, and now we have two candidates, and the first one for the
I mean,
year.
I'll take the blame,
Even
but it's
better
his
than
project.
No.
All good.
Small comment, BSA, Boy Scouts of America, which also includes girls now, Boy Scout, has a conservation award. And you might want to just tell some of the troops, it's one of the scouts is going for the conservation award, that this is available, they could maybe be able to leapfrog that together.
The only thing we were saying was we didn't want to double dip. So if they're putting it up for the Boy Scouts, then we're trying to get somebody that's a little bit more independent, you know what I mean? Like, so, but we were thinking that maybe down the line that we will honor troop projects and things like that. But yes, but thanks so much, Jay.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Yeah. So it's a great start for the first one, and then, all these other ideas, we can branch out or whatever,
Yeah.
do the different groups, state, young, middle and older. So thank you again for the work that you did on this first year's award. Room number 6, open space land acquisitions, number 1, 2630-36 Camden Street, FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program via Town Planning and Zoning.
This one I'll just introduce. We have Assistant Director of Town Planning and Zoning, Emmeline Harrigan on the phone. She could elaborate more on it, but this is something we're working together with her department and tax assessor, tax collector, the town attorney on. The reason why it's on here is because once the proper 3 parcels are acquired, that they would fall into the commission's jurisdiction.
Okay,
I'll let her,
hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing me to come this evening. I'm just going to share my screen if that's okay and allowed.
Yes, please.
Okay. So these 3 properties are located directly adjacent to, it's labeled here on the aerial, unfortunately, as the Ash Creek, but it is the Rooster River. And it's the 3 parcels that are actually closest to I-95 and the culvert that goes under I-95. The family that, the estate that this is in right now, the family has owned this property since before the highway was built. Both from a floodplain management perspective, this property is located in the floodway, so to redevelop it is very challenging. the woman who lived here who passed away in 2018, we've been working with them, in conversation with them since that time, to apply for a grant to purchase the property, and we applied for a FEMA grant in 2022, which we have finally been preliminarily authorized to receive. And in discussing with different departments, whether this was a worthwhile acquisition, it did keep coming back, just the flood storage that this would provide if it remains undeveloped, the access to the culvert that goes below I-95, in case of it getting blocked by storms. It's really limited redevelopment potential. And, this is a very tight neighborhood without a lot of open space opportunities nearby. And for the Commerce Drive activity that's happening across the street. And believe it or not, when you're at this parcel that is significantly below the grade of the highway, it's actually fairly peaceful. There's a very nice, Tim, is it an oak tree that's on the parcel?
I believe so, yeah. I believe it's white oak.
And there's a couple invasive trees at the front that would need to be removed. When we enter in an agreement with the Federal Emergency Management Agency for purchase, we are required to remove all potential structures from the site. And I'm just going to show you a picture of, can you see the picture of the house?
Yes.
Oh, it's so cute.
So this house was constructed in 1917. It's approximately 720 square feet. There's also a shed / garage on the site, but if the town, can hopefully continues to move forward with this purchase, we would demolish all structures on the site and really convert this to passive open space, which is why we've had ongoing conversations with Tim to be able to do that. That's pretty much all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions?
I think it would be a great acquisition, knowing the Rooster River and all of the issues, over the years, and, being able to get any property along there to mitigate any flooding would be great.
You used the word passive. What would be the ultimate goal? Could town residents use it as open?
Yes, absolutely. It's just when, when you end up utilizing federal funds to purchase it within a floodplain, they don't really want it for active, say, tennis courts. Like, it wouldn't be appropriate for an active recreation site where you have like a playground or tennis courts or things like that. So we felt in conversation with Tim that this would be more appropriate, with park benches, places where people could really enjoy public access to the Rooster River, because those spots are really limited. The Mill River, we have a lot of public access, but the Rooster River, not so much.
Depending on the layout of the land, which I'm not familiar with, is there maybe, would pathways or walkways be allowed under FEMA, or is that active?
That would be fine. I don't think that they would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
They just don't really allow for the addition of structures, because the point is to mitigate future damage to structures.
Gotcha.
I hate to see that 100-year-old house go,
I
but
know.
rules are rules.
Right. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? No?
Passive usually refers to walking.
Walking.
It
Yeah.
just can't be, fishing would be passive. It just can't be action stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for staying up to talk to us.
Thank you so much for allowing me to come and speak to you today.
Right, thank you.
Thank
Land
you.
that time forgotten in that area.
All right, number 2, current acquisition frequency rate is 3.17 months per parcel. Tim, anything more?
Yeah, that's just a metrics I've been using with the Land Acquisition Commission's worksheet that I developed just to calculate how often we've been acquiring a parcel since I got here. So every 3 months we get a new parcel average,
Nice.
That's pretty good.
regardless of acreage.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, a tracking metrics.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a lot more in the pipeline, so, you know, competitive me tries to beat that number lower and lower. I don't
Nice.
think I've exceeded 4, so
Well, that's good.
we're getting there.
Okay.
All right, there's no bills and communications, so we go on to 8, legal enforcement actions, number 1, 30 Laurel Brook Lane, unauthorized encroachment, damages into conservation easements.
In this section, it's somewhat repetitive to the agency's last meeting, but I only placed them on the agenda as you sit tonight as the Conservation Commission and as they relate to conservation easements. This location was the one where work was completed on a Saturday. A culvert was placed in a water course where it hadn't existed before to create an earthen bridge. Excavation and regrading and planting all of this occurred within the easement. So you will be seeing this as both the agency and the commission. I've been in contact with the property owner and they've retained their professionals, so they are working on submitting the application, so it's more informational at this point.
The only thing that on these things, I don't know how we handle this, but we're entitled to reimbursement for any legal fees that we spend on and the enforcement of that. That's correct, right?
Under
I
that
think that's under
statute,
statute.
yeah.
I just think that we should pursue that, that's all.
So far, this one hasn't gotten there because they have been quick to respond.
I just I think it might, I think we should probably get clarification on that from the town attorney. And that when these things happen, that we tell these people upfront that we're gonna pursue enforcement and that you will be responsible for any legal costs. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's true. If it's in your, it would be a good place to put it, would be in your letter of, notice of
Mhm.
violation or whatever, so.
And I think that's a good, I don't know, it's a stick or a carrot, but it's a good way to keep people in mind.
And I think that's typically been pursued by Attorney Pierce with
Yeah.
when we file in court to, that they would, condition of the decision was to pay the town.
All right, anything further on that, commissioners? Or moving on to number 2, 680 Old Academy Road, encroachment damages in conservation easement. We just saw that last time, right? So.
Correct, yeah, the agency just saw that, this agenda was printed before the last meeting, so there's a little bit of redundancy.
Okay.
I think everyone's well aware of the next 2 anyway.
Yep, and same thing with number 3, which will continue 120 Wakeman Lane.
The only thing I want, I listened to the tape on that, and I guess there was a discussion about possibly revising the conservation easement on number 3.
It was discussed. Yeah, it was discussed.
Let's
but-
discuss, no decision, but I guess the only thing I would add, I guess this is the proper time because we're discussing this,
Yeah.
is that if they decide that they would like to redo redefine a conservation easement, as a quid pro quo, I'd be looking for them to redo the language, tighten it up so that any of the deficiencies they pointed out would no longer be the case.
Right. I think I agree with that. I mean, some of the commissioners, again, what I recall.
Right. I know we didn't make any
Easier was
decision,
there.
but it might be an opportunity because we could really, really nail it down. That's
The
all.
one angle is the easement's been there. We just didn't enforce it over the years. A house has been built on it or whatever.
Right.
And it can stay there. Or we can, like you say, tighten up the language, redo the boundaries. And that would be something as a commission that we could do. So.
Again, I'm not suggesting any path forward. I just thinking that if there is that discussion, that would be the quick.
I think, yeah, I think that's fair, yeah. Any other questions on that?
It sounds like the debate is gonna if there's one,
If there is one,
about
yeah.
where that is, and that's,
Right.
you know, I think there was some discussion about,
It's the
everyone
aerial and
being
the
unhappy,
mowing
and
and
I was
what was
like,
mowed.
no, I think you got that wrong. I said, I was thinking, I'm happy to negotiate here,
Yeah.
up and down this. I'm not really sure that was understood, that I'm not here to negotiate. It's like, nice try.
Well,
But that, it was comparatively friendly, so.
on that,
Hopefully stay that way.
right, on 120 Wakeman, I am at least happy they have a team together that's moving it forward.
Mhm.
So I don't wanna, you know, what does it get, blood out of a stone or beat a dead horse? I mean.
It's come a
Yeah,
long
it's
ways.
right,
believe
so
it or
I don't
not.
want, I prefer to get some movement and see
Mhm.
where we can get from it.
Mhm.
The damage has been done. We're not gonna buy some of the stuff they're selling us, but we can at least do something with it, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I understand they went up 180 after the previous meeting.
Yeah, right.
Which, you know, stand up to a bully and,
Yeah. Well, I came in and unfortunately I wasn't here the first meeting, so I reviewed it. And I feel bad I cut you off because you were preparing to say something about the conservation easement is, you know, you can
Oh,
enforce
there's
it.
always time for that.
And I kind of went at it first. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course you can enforce
I
it.
came in
Well,
with
I was
came in
like,
with
I wasn't there.
pages. I had this, and I was gonna make this whole speech about, since I'm a very bad public speaker, I think I'll read it. Oh, geez, and it was 3 pages long, and then I watched it. Hey, we're all being nice to each other. I can't step in here with all this Mr. Nasty stuff.
But I listened to it too, and when he said that, I was like, I
Yeah.
jumped in my seat. I was like, you know,
What? Yeah.
no,
Trust me, it will
was not.
reappear in some diluted form, but
That's okay. We'll get it. We'll get it going.
I'm very reliable.
I like it. Number 9, staff reports. Number 1, reports from the Conservation Department. A, tree removal at multiple open spaces.
A lot of down trees lately. The crew's been working hard, chasing snags and snapped trees and down trees all over. So that's
Okay.
It's noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I
been
know they
crazy
do
with
a
the
lot
trees
of
coming
work.
down. And now with this prolonged drought, there's a lot of tree death going on too. so.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Excellent. Thank you. B, planned collaboration with Wakeman Boys and Girls Club at Westway Open Space.
So that's one of our newer acquisitions.
I didn't
Yeah.
recognize that for a second.
Where
Where
is
is
Westway Open?
So that is Southport,
Okay,
next to 95,
gotcha.
where Oxford Road goes there's an underpass.
Okay,
Forms a T intersection right on the Westport border.
okay.
So the
Behind the
the,
library.
I think behind Pequot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The newer acquisition is adjacent to this parcel at 600 Westway, which has been for a while. But the plan is to establish a trail loop in there, which will be about a half a mile loop. And we're going to collaborate with Wakeman Boys and Girls Club to get some youngsters helping out with some, you know, clearing leaves and branches and with our crew, department crew to, you know, then operate chainsaws and stuff, but create a trail loop for the users in that part of town. Put some paint on trees and have, you know, blaze it for both directions and we're looking at that in the next few weeks. So just trying to nail down a date for them.
And did you reach out to Wakeman's or?
I did,
Right.
yeah. I met with their director about a month or two ago and knew this would happen in the fall, so
Yeah.
we're there now and just looking to
Great.
nail down a date. Just haven't collaborated with them before. And I think we could, you know, similar to our work with Boy Scouts and other groups, I think this could be another asset that we haven't
Excuse me.
tapped with. Tapped yet.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions, comments further on that? Okay. Now C, under staff report, department staff, field collaboration with Mill River Wetland Committee at Perry's Mill Pond Open Space on basic hydrogeology, geofluvial morphology, aquifers and erosion. Before I let you start, I looked up geofluvial morphology.
Did rather well.
And it didn't come up like that. It came up as fluvial geomorphology. So is this a typo or
No, it's-
did I look at something different?
Yeah.
Either way,
Okay,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually it's fluvial geomorph, but
yeah, that's what it would come up.
I think the word changed me, it changed it around on spell check.
Okay,
it's correct either way, though.
it is, okay. Although all that fancy wordage kind of just talks about rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's a pretty fascinating subject.
What does it mean? I'm not diminishing it, but for
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't recognize that word, that, those words,
I give you a lot of credit. I give you a lot of credit.
Tim, please. tell us.
All the fancy words are short for, I went out and met with Mill River twice this past month at our Perry's Mill Pond Open Space on Sturgis Road and gave a talk on these topics individually. And I think it was well received, training some, just to give some background to their instructors who were teaching the kids, mostly as Kate and some of younger kids, some elementary, some middle school grades. But they're out there having a talk and doing some experiments and on the open space next to the water, seeing things in action. So, we could see erosion coming off Sturgis Road, eroding through the open space, getting to the river. So you could look at, the size of the gravel and all the fine particles already washed into the river versus, why is there no erosion control or why is it over here and not over there? And, curves in the river and stuff like that. So it was pretty helpful, but always good to work with John Dilly and Sam, and their whole group to educate the kids on the, boots on the ground.
Very cool. Very nice.
And thank you so much for doing that,
Yeah.
Tim. We haven't, Mill River hasn't had a conservation, in a long time that would come out and do instruction, especially with the newer guides.
Yeah, it's everyone's really nice and receptive and eager to, this is trying to teach could be complicated concepts for non-technical people, if I'm talking about certain buzzwords or concepts to somebody who's an accountant, like I have to cater that the hour talk to those type of people. So and it would be vice versa because I don't
Would
know
this be
nothing
a
about
good,
money.
like,
Accounting.
setup for the house, the?
Yeah,
something
exactly.
Like this, like a course or a seminar or something, this could be something that would be done there, something like that?
Yeah, and I mean, they're doing it now, but these types of educational, seminar type things are,
Nice.
that's what Sturgis Road will be all about.
And it will be huge because a lot of times I'll stand there with an umbrella trying to talk really, really fast. Because people have taken the morning off and you've got to kind of do the trainings when they're, so to have a space where people are going to be dry is.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, exciting. Okay. All right, moving on to D, department staff plan collaboration with Fairfield Prep Ecology Club is it Binger or Binger?
Binger.
Binger Woods, open space and invasive species on 10/29.
So if you've picked up on the theme of this agenda, has really been our effort, the department's effort to work with
Like outreach.
other groups and pushing hard to do that because there's so many resources in this town that I think, like Kate just said, that are untouched, untapped, and not enough crossover to be a town with even just 2 universities one would be amazing. We have two. You know, and along with all these other groups, so this connection happened last year when I met with Fairfield Preps Ecology Club, and we went out and looked at a healthy salt marsh versus an invaded salt marsh. And we talked about, but in the field, you know, the kids drove around in their school bus, and we went to both Oldfield Road and Reef Road to look at the difference. You know, gets them out of the classroom, no textbook stuff, no videos, no YouTube, it's boots on the ground. So carrying over similar topics at their request. And this was related to invasive. So this field trip, Nicole and I have been collaborating with one of their instructors, and we're gonna go to Binger Woods and look at the plots, which fits into their curriculum and target topics that they're working on. And then look at some invasives as far as comparing, which Nicole already scouted out, comparing Tree of Heaven to Black Walnut and Sumac. So they're still holding their leaves, hopefully long enough to see. I mean, the adult lanternflies are pretty much gone, but that was fitting into what they were talking about. So we're looking at.
Add Aurelia in there too, because it's similar.
Okay. But like I said, Nicole located some spots, and we're gonna kind of tie it all in together, which will be good. And when is that set? Oh, the 29th. I didn't even
Good thing it's right
I
there.
was right, and then I didn't even see it.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, any questions, comment?
I just keep, it's a broken record, but you know, this is a big change for this department. This kind of outreach, this kind of action, this kind of everything. It's a big change
Yeah.
from
You're
the
absolutely
town's
right.
been used to.
No, I was gonna say, I think
He's
I've done
not
Mill River
listening.
for 20 years, and I think we've never had anybody from conservation ever come.
No, it's a very, I think it's.
Sad.
This is.
No, I mean, Joy Shaw, I mean,
Yeah.
Joy, but she's not conservation, but I mean,
Right.
but no, no communication between, and that's 20 years.
I'll say, you know, for the record, we've said it before, I'll say it again, you know, it's all up for Tim. Tim.
Yes.
Thank you, Tim, for doing
Thank
what
you,
you're doing
Tim.
for the town.
I mean,
Yes.
you're just doing my job though. I mean, that's,
Right.
it's sad that
You're
that didn't
doing it,
happen
you're
for
doing
20
it,
years,
yeah, well,
because
doing it well, so.
why wouldn't any of my predecessors do that? It doesn't make sense to me.
Different agendas, but I think we're on the right page now.
Yep.
Big improvement.
All right. Now we're going on to other. I will start by saying, if you haven't heard, it's unfortunate, but Commissioner Jerry Alessi has resigned. He just is going to be out of the country for too long, and he doesn't think it's appropriate to take away that time from the town, the commission. I won't read you his whole thing, but I will read this. Please let the fellow commissioners know that I feel they are the most dedicated, educated, informed group of commissioners I have ever served with in my 14 years of service on various town boards. The Fairfield Conservation Department, led by Tim Bishop, is absolutely incredible, and the residents of the town should be very proud to have them. So,
Very nice.
you know, and I thanked him for his work and time and effort. We will miss him, he'll be missed. But, you know, sometimes life gets in the way, you know,
He will be missed.
yeah.
Well, I particularly, because I talk about Terry a lot, because I like his candid kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word, yeah, punchiness, it's a good word. I miss that.
He's got the outside voice of my inside voice. But he says it better, because clearly when I deliver it, it doesn't come across correctly, but you
He
know.
bottles it up and then takes the cap off. So that's a disappointment.
I'm not sure. Anything else under other?
Well, I would just point out that I looked up the fundamentals of fluvial, you know,
Yeah.
et cetera. And, you know, you guys talk about like so simple. The first thing that comes up is it says the fundamentals, it's 275 pages. So I don't think you should diminish your knowledge base here. You guys are pretty smart.
A great book called Water and Environmental Planning. It's by Luna Leopold. If anybody wants to read a good primer, they should pick that one up. It's I think it's out of print now, but it's the Bible.
But we are among company that's pretty
Yeah.
heady
Yeah.
here.
All right, Tim, anything?
Yeah, I have one, and I just wanted to put it on, put it out there and on the record, in multiple places, but, South Pine Creek, open space, or near Kiwanis Field. Today we initiated some intermittent, and long-term trail closures there. Tom and the crew put out, horses, barricades, with signage at, from the Kiwanis Field, from the spur trail next to it, and then on the other side of the old railroad bridge. So, Terry Construction is mobilized today, a giant crane, to begin staging, their equipment and that effort to, create the coffer dam and start driving sheet piling and steel into the water as part of the tide gate replacement project.
Okay, good.
So that's gonna begin basically arguably today through May. On the environmental side, Nicole and I have been working with Eric Davison, who's a wildlife biologist, per the permit from DEEP because of the presence of the diamondback terrapin and short-eared owl roosting habitat concerns from DEEP. There's certain measures in place that we need to create exclusionary barriers in the marsh to keep the turtles mostly out from nesting. I'm sorry, not nesting, hibernation in the mud before we go in and start digging it up and driving piles. So the department's working with engineering and that professional to get that set up. The deadline, which was November 1st to start driving piles, there's some work restrictions, time restrictions. So all the pieces are falling in place to meet those requirements, so.
Okay.
You'll see that, that's, I put it on the website today. Like I said, Tom has the notices out there now. I requested the first selectman's office to put it in their newsletter. Because just while I was there with the contractor this morning, could have counted 30 people.
Yeah, it's
So,
popular.
you know, in an effort to avoid the department phone blowing up. Why can't I hike here anymore? I'm trying to get the word out, so I just wanted to announce it tonight to the commission.
How much of that land back in there does the town own?
It's about 220?
It's a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody asked me and I said, as far as I know, I think it's all owned by the town. I mean, I didn't know if any was,
most of it's under the commission's jurisdiction, except the landfill is public works. But most of it's all the title marsh is.
yeah, I said, I didn't know if the state had any, I said, I believe it's, town.
Yeah, all town.
There's a little piece of, Audubon owns a little piece of land in there. Kind of slivers in from,
Yeah, right.
Okay.
yeah, a little piece, but not, yeah, it's mostly the top.
And some of Parks and Rec too with the R3 course and the tennis bubble there and the the fields obviously, but. Yeah, they're gonna be, it's gonna be a big crane, and I think, as you may recall this started when I first got here, the permitting took the Army Corps 15 months for a response. And the State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO was months and months. But that historic railroad bridge is going to be lifted by this crane, set aside and then restored and mocked up as a railroad bridge on site. So if you could picture where you go through the gate and the boulders from the parking lot, on the left is where that will be mocked up with railroad ties. We gotta get some steel rail, it'll be sanded and painted.
Used to be over Tomlinson, that used to be over the.
Yeah.
No, that one used to be on Bronson Road.
That was on Bronson?
Yeah, that's what I
Oh, that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, it was there when it was set, like whatever it was, like 40 years ago.
Yeah, they brought it right down Post Road.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the Connecticut Railroad.
Right.
Section on span that used to
Yeah.
cross over the Connecticut River.
There's only, I think, less than 5 left on the planet of those, of that architectural style bridge, the Pony Trust Bridge.
Yeah.
So we have one. And it's in the way.
That is really cool.
It was there, it was served the purpose for a long time.
All right, thanks, Tim. Anything else, any commissioners under other? Nope.
Just the, everybody knows about the Kakiawik Conference.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't pay our dues yet, we pay our dues.
I'll find out. That's, this is always when it comes up.
About that.
And again, I've said this before, if any commissioners go and want reimbursement, to just keep the receipts and send them to me. I'll get reimbursed through the finance department.
Tim,
Consider
can
the
you
meeting.
double check, do we need to be certified as members of the board now? Was there a law that came out this year that says all of us instead of one of us?
I think, I mean, everyone's taken the training, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
it doesn't, there's no expiration, so as long as you've done it once,
Oh, really?
you're good,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But we're supposed
I-
to do
I
some
think
certain number of hours every couple of years, but the thing of it is, if you go to any of these conferences, you get hours.
You get ours, okay.
You know, went to the, what, we went to the Bar Association.
The bar association
one.
was all day.
It was, but it was online, you didn't even have to leave home, but
No.
you got hours for that.
But we got hours for that,
Not hard.
but Kakiawik, I think is, not that the bar one wasn't good, but I think the Kakiawik is really good.
Plus, the training is always free, so if anyone wanted to do it again,
Okay.
It's not hard to
there's
get. the
always an
hours.
option.
I just
Just
want,
let me know.
something came across my desk, I'm not sure how or when, just double check if it is, if we do it once and that's good enough, or if we have to recertify or something.
It's that
every-
usually,
every-
it used to be one person on the commission.
That's
that
right.
did it.
Yeah.
Now they want everybody to do it, it's.
I think that legislation was proposed, but I don't know if it passed.
That's what I think it wasn't, it didn't pack, because the people we were sitting with was actually, I forget what town it was, maybe Weston. And his problem was that, like, I think nobody on his commission had done anything and nobody was going to anything. And he was pretty impressed that Fairfield, we were representing. And he was like, you know, yeah, so I mean, I think that there are some towns like where nobody does anything and.
We're the Yankees.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Someone in Fairfield spoke last time, holding the mic, don't you remember that? You.
I know, I did speak, I did ask, I did ask questions last year at Kakiawik.
There you go.
It's a good event.
Yeah, it's a really good event. Well, you get to, you know, hobnob with all the other commissions, find out what's going on.
Well, and you also are very, like, you just really are very grateful for Tim. And not that we're not every day, but then you're like, oh my gosh. And then I look at Tim, he's like, no, we're doing that. Yeah, we're doing all that. Yeah, yeah.
I have
Yeah,
a question,
yeah.
sort of related. So we're going to these conferences, but to my knowledge, we don't have business cards for.
We have it, we just had, on our tag, it'll tell us that what does it say? That we're,
So you're coming-
it tells you what when they issue your tag, it tells you what your town is and what your role is on
Commissioner.
your
Okay.
tag.
I'm thinking it would be really great to have business cards to give to people when we make contacts from other towns or agencies. I mean, I can just print my own, but it seems like maybe we should have something official for everybody.
I just tell them that they could contact him.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Push the button,
It can't hurt, I mean,
but
give me your thoughts.
I've actually never thought about that before. I guess it could be it could be done. Our card orders are in 500 count minimums,
yeah.
which would be
That's a lot.
a lot to get 10 and then.
You could buy those Avery ones and do yourself.
Could do,
self-printing, yeah.
Could make a generic one,
Yeah.
just for the commission with a conservation email.
But a lot of times they have,
Maybe
We only go to
you
one conference.
want to establish a template. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with ordering my own cards or printing them myself, but if you want to have some consistency, maybe you'd want to make up a template on what we should use on the card.
Town CO in there.
One thing
Yeah.
I do think it's important, and we don't have, because of this way the freedom of information laws. I've asked the town several times to get my own email address for the commission.
Yeah.
And I would really like to have that, because if there's ever any litigation, serious litigation, then they're limited to that account. Otherwise, they can email, they can foil your entire computer and your entire account, which can ruin your life and your business. So, I really like to have a.
oh, that's, and I don't think that, I mean, I don't know the town, but like, even when I'm on like when I was a board member on Mill River, like it was very easy, like, you know, like I had my own, like so any Mill River communication came through my Mill
That would,
River.
you know, to me, that would be a very good it's a safety thing. You know, like I said, if you get one of these people that are really angry, they can just, you know, they can file a million different FOIL requests and subpoenas, and you can, you know, you can be going through your computer for weeks.
Well, you do
And that
know
is
that
nice
your
to
name
hear.
and phone number and everything is listed on the town's.
I don't care about that part.
No.
I'm open to that. I just don't want
I
them
think your
going into
address
my,
too.
you know, they can get access to your computer and your phone. If you know,
Well,
this way it would only that.
Access.
Well, I think
you
they
would
can
have
make
to
a
provide-
request.
Make a request, and then you would have to
Is that-
provide, and our council would, you know.
Yeah, I know,
You know,
but
but
it's.
It does suck.
Yeah,
It would
you
take
know,
up some time
sucks.
to-
I'm not-
to,
That happened, another, mine is.
you know, anything that comes from, you know, any connection to the commission.
Yeah.
Unless it's somehow protected, but most of ours.
No, it's not, it's,
That's kind of, well, that brings up again, that's why the minimal amount of information on an email, no matter how benign it is better.
yes.
Right, so, you
We
know,
don't really do a lot of back and forth.
we don't.
No.
Once in a while we do.
Try not
So
to.
It's not
my
It's
silence a
to,
lot of
but,
times is simply because I don't want to say anything on an email.
That's why you
so-
don't respond to
I-
anything I
Yeah.
say. He doesn't.
Hey,
I read it all, but I'm like.
That's what you say.
Very disciplined, that's
Back
very.
to Diane's comment about identification and consistency. You know, Peter made tags that some of us do wear on sidewalks.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
Pulled them out of
very,
that.
very odd for a neighbor to look out and see 4 people walking through the yard on
Yeah.
Sunday morning. That helps a lot. And Diane, I think you're right. Some sort of a simple business card that you could give someone for identification would also be fine.
You
know
have a
what, Tim?
card now, right?
Yeah, I could generate a card that's universal.
Yeah, so-
I mean, that's easy. I could have that tomorrow.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Or at least email it to show what it would look like.
Right.
Say commissioner.
For Mill River, what we did, is, you know, so we all were board members, so if we went to a function, I would just put, you know, so it was, you know, or whatever, and then I would put like Kate O'Mahony on the back if they
Yeah.
wanted to do, but it had the president, like whatever, the general, whatever, put on the front, and then, you know, like that kind of thing, but
Sure.
we didn't all have our, I mean,
You're up, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's wise.
Supposed to. Yeah, and you know, just to follow up on Jay's point, on my board in Ridgefield, we've gotten to the point where we have our own email addresses and own laptops. So for that FOIA reason, that IT said certain boards that, wetlands being one of them,
Or more
we have
active.
town issued laptops that
Yeah.
you do, you know, all our meetings are Zoom, but
Yeah.
that you do any correspondence on through that email. So I'll find out from IT what it takes to create
Just for, yeah.
an email address.
How hard would that be? Right.
Not hard.
I don't think it's hard. Right now that we have a generic conservation email that the public has, so it comes into that specific inbox, which I get copied on anyway. So if someone doesn't look up staff on our homepage to find out, you know, any of our 3
Goes to the info.
emails,
at-
it goes into the
Generic.
generic conservation email. conservation@fairfieldct.org.
How hard could it be for
So-
them to do 7 more handles? Or-
Right.
or, you know, whatever they are,
It's,
8
you know, it's
more.
real, we're really entitled to it as a, you know, as a commission member, it's.
Well, there you go.
But that would protect,
Yeah, it's.
offer more protection,
Okay.
so.
And then you
That
can
would probably
speak-
cut down on the stuff for me because frankly, most of it's embarrassing anyway, so.
No, it's fine, I like it.
Don't stop the photos.
I know.
No, the photos are awesome.
I mean, you really gotta give us a
Seminar.
seminar.
They are incredible.
They are incredible. And with the toilet, with
degrees,
the,
the
yeah.
arrows. How do you insert all that
I
stuff?
don't know.
That's
I-
amazing. really
It is amazing.
Should have a course just on that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, after the 275 pages of geofluvial morphology.
That's right.
For
Anything
the
further?
motion to adjourn.
All right, second.
second it.
Yeah, all in favor. All right, so this one is done. And although it's a few minutes early,
The recording stopped.
Not yet, one
oh,
second.
sorry.
It's all right. I'm just gonna pause it because.
All right, this is the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission acting as the Inland Wetlands Agency, special meeting of October 16, 2024.
Should we wait till 8?
Time is it? I think we can.
It's, it is currently, I'd say, 10 of, or eight of 8. The meeting start time is 8 PM. I will start now to do the administrative, but we will wait until 8 o'clock to take up any of the substantive items that are on the menu. It'll probably take me that amount of time, a few conversations to get to 8 o'clock anyway. So I'll take attendance, and it's Luke Thomas, Richard Boucher, Jay Fain, Peter Hood, Peter Mahoney, and Diane Saunders. Appointing Diane Saunders as a full member with all voting privileges tonight. And we can go to Roman numeral 8, really, that's the only thing that's on the agenda. There's 2 items on the agenda tonight, legal enforcement actions. I think it's number 1 that got counsel. Is that number 1?
Correct.
Okay, so number 1, show cause hearing, Pilot House, 1230 and 1236 Merwin's Lane, map 220 lots 11 and 12. Notice of violation and cease and desist order issued for conducting a significant activity within a regulated area without authorization. That particular matter, the Pilot House has secured counsel. Counsel has reached out to staff. They've asked for it to be on the next regularly scheduled meeting. Tim, is there anything additional to that?
No,
No,
that show cause hearing will be postponed till 11/6
11/6, okay. And
at the request of their council.
of their counsel, you're right, and it's well, local counsel with nobody that we wouldn't know, so.
Okay.
Okay. And we unfortunately still have 5 minutes to go. I did that a little too fast.
Take a little
We'll
5-minute
take a
break.
5-minute recess, 5-minute recess. Thank you. All right, we're back, and again, this is the Conservation Commission acting as the Inland Wetlands Agency. We're at Roman numeral 8, legal enforcement actions. Number 2, show cause hearing, Jacinto, 36 Chestnut Street, map 128, lot 149. Notice of violation and corrective action order issued for conducting a regulated activity within a regulated area without authorization, and there has been no response to date. Tim, can you give us some more information?
Sure. As everyone may recall, this came before the agency as a notice of violation about 2 months ago, when it was first discovered and issued. It was for a construction of a masonry wall and wood fence adjacent to a wetland in a regulated area, and also included dumping materials in the wetland C and D debris, mostly related to the construction, concrete, wood, as well as work within the regulated area was conducted without S&E controls and staging of equipment in the regulated area, all without a permit. The NOV went out with 30 days for a response. That was not received. Corrective action order went out to appear for this show cause hearing we're having tonight, as well as the order also included to address the conditions of in terms of the notice of violation, and everything as explained has gone unanswered. No contact has been established with the property owner and the department, so that is the basis for the show cause hearing tonight.
Okay,
Did they stop the work, Tim?
The work was complete, and the way it came about was the department and town planning and zoning were responding to the two adjacent parcels
That was
with.
the 12 and 16, right? Yes, yeah.
That's not, if you recall that, we were alerted to this happening on the adjacent parcel to 16, and it appeared that most of the work had already been completed at the time, so.
So the stuff that was dumped in the water course is still sitting in the water course?
Yes, and to put it in kind of in your minds as far as where this is located, the backyard over the unpermitted fence is a wetland that is I would think the southern portion of the Handy and Harmon property along Grassmere.
Yes, yeah.
Near the Home Depot, Whole Foods kind of part of town. There is a water course that flows south under the railroad tracks, which are adjacent empty. This property is also close, or 12 Chestnut Street is adjacent to MTA and Condot corridor. So the river does go under the tracks and proceeds towards 95 and out. So it's a lot of flow through here. And again, the work was done without a permit, so. The order specifies, I don't have it with me, but specifies to either remove all the work and restore it, or acquire a permit from the department.
And no response, nothing's happened. So
No response, no contact.
Do we need a motion to uphold the show cause hearing? Is that the proper procedure? I'll
Yeah,
make
so
a-
the order could be upheld, modified, or denied by the agency.
I'll make a motion to uphold the order.
all right, Commissioner Fain has made a motion to uphold the order. Anybody second that order?
Sure.
Commissioner Hood seconds that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion carries.
Can I make another motion, or?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, can I make a motion to refer this to the town attorney for further action?
Commissioner Fain has made a motion to refer this to the town attorney. Would anybody like to second that motion? Commissioner Mahoney would like to second that motion. All in favor of referring?
Aye.
Aye, all around. So, that'll be referred to town attorney. All right.
Tim, is it a rental property or you don't know?
That I don't know.
and it's irrelevant, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Might as well.
the order and the NOV were sent to the
Tax, whatever the,
to the property owner on file.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's occupied. The department followed procedures in our regulations, sending certified
no,
mail.
I knew that, but I was just wondering, I know there are a lot of rentals down in through there. I said, I wonder,
Commissioners, anything else, anything further on that matter? Nope. All right, then